NBA Finals.
5.
Now joined by our very own Stephen
Hand that rock, hand that rock.
Smith. Stephen
4.
A., congratulations. Your New York Knicks are NBA champions. How are you feeling?
I don't even know how to put it into words, and that's my job because I damn sure didn't play. I didn't practice like these guys did. I didn't play. They did it. But it's been 53 long years, and there's so many moments of misery that we had to endure as New York Knicks fans. And to be here tonight, I got to confess, until this series, I never thought it would happen.
It's like, okay.
I picked the Knicks to go to the finals at the beginning of the season, but I never thought they would win it. So many things have gone wrong. The layups that wasn't with Charles Smith, the Ewing finger rolls, you know, the game 7s that didn't come out on top. I mean, time after time after time again, Steph Curry being the 7th pick in the draft when we had the 8th pick. You know, we had the 3rd pick the year that Zion Williamson and John Morant came in the draft. You know, everything that can go wrong did go wrong time and time and time again. And to be here tonight in attendance, witnessing the end of a 53-year drought as a Bronx, born in the Bronx, raised in Hollis, Queens, New York City, been a New York Knicks fan all my life. I never thought I'd see it. I don't even know what to say. I can't even put into words how this feels. It's the best feeling I've ever had in my life covering sports. I've never had a feeling like this. It's unbelievable.
Wow, that's very cool. You follow this team very closely, Stephen A. What is it? I don't think a lot of people saw this coming. Certainly not this 15-1 stretch to close out the season, the postseason. What surprised you about this Knicks team down the stretch?
The togetherness is not something that we saw coming because for 75% of the season, they didn't seem there. They were good enough to beat the teams they were supposed to beat, but the elite teams, you suspected they'd come up short. Jalen Brunson was a superstar all year long, but you wondered about the pieces around him and whether or not they'd be able to pull this off. And then they went down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks, and I almost had a stroke on the air because they better not lose the series. Everybody has to go, but Brunson, everybody has to go.
Responded.
And from that moment forward,
I just went over to him
they
and
were
was like,
unbelievable.
You're insane.
They closed out Atlanta by being up damn near 50 in the first half and winning by 47. They sweep the 76ers. They go up against Cleveland. They sweep them. And then they come into the NBA Finals against the San Antonio Spurs team that won 62 games. And you're like, they could lose this series, but something told you they weren't because they were playing with a level of togetherness. And I think Mike Brown putting the ball in Karl Anthony Towns' hands, Jalen Brunson coming off the ball, being allowed to look for his shot, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and everybody elevating their level of play. Josh Hart, the Energizer Bunny, the engine that could, constantly pushing the gas. You just found yourself saying, wait a minute, they could do this. And then to win game 1 in San Antonio, okay, we got home court advantage. And then to win game 2, it was like, we ain't coming back. We know what happened in game 3. We don't have to revisit that. But then to be down 29 and to come back from a 29-point second half deficit and to beat the San Antonio Spurs, you know, it's improbable. But in the end, Leon Rose deserves all the credit in the world. Going out and getting Mikal Bridges and OG
he did a
Anunoby,
360
giving him
pirouette around 2
million.
Rockets
Josh
and laid it
Hart,
up and
these
in.
guys following Jalen Brunson's lead, wanting his Villanova boys here, having that faith. And believe it or not, you got to give credit to James Dolan because James Dolan not only gave them the paper to do it, not only gave them the cachet to do it, but put them on notice that anything less than a berth to the NBA Finals, if not a championship, would do, and put them on notice. And that kind of stuff, that level of urgency sometimes is necessary to take you to the promised land. And it worked. It all worked.
Stephen A., a lot of teams and a lot of front offices try when they're looking to shift the direction of their franchise, they try to rebuild through the draft. But this Knicks team is composed of free agents and trades and almost, when you look at it from almost an island of misfit toys, right? People who have come from other areas and other teams and come together to be great in this unit. How do you think that changes the way that team building moving forward may be approached?
It has to. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks saved the NBA tonight with this championship. Stay with me. Wemby is 7'5".
That was nasty.
If the Spurs win the championship, the entire NBA is evolving its scheme around how do you knock off the alien, the 7'5" alien from France. How do you do it? Well, guess what? Now that a 6'1" guard, who's not the most athletic above the rim, dude, that ain't his game. Just savvy, brilliant as a basketball savant, footwork extraordinaire. That guy at 6'1" led this team, and in a closeout game 5, drops 45 on a Spurs defense that was pretty elite. That's what they did.
Rui. Three-pointer
And when
by
you do
Rui.
something
Good.
like that, all of a
Huge
sudden
shot
you look
by
around the
Hachimura.
NBA and you say, wait a minute, it's not just about the draft. It's about picking the right guys, the glue pieces that keep you together as a team. It's about that. It's about a coach that recognizes the importance of depth and a bench. It's about an executive in Leon Rose and William Wesley that listened to their star, that said, let's ride with him. Let's believe in him and the faith that he has in these guys like the Mikal Bridges of the world and Josh Harts of the world. It's all of that. But most importantly, it's led by a 6'1" guard that showed up on the court and was a star among stars. He was bigger, he was taller, he was better than Victor Wembanyama. And because of that, now you get to look at the rest of the league and you get to say, Ant-Man in Minnesota, or anybody in Houston, or Shea and those guys in Oklahoma City, or San Antonio. You get to look at
So as you
everybody
see,
and say,
De'Aaron
what's
Fox
your
had his
problem?
first practice
How come
with
you
the San
can't figure
Antonio
out
Spurs today.
Wait, whether you're Boston, Detroit, or anybody else, because Jalen Brunson did it, anybody in the NBA, or rather nobody, has an excuse to say they couldn't do it. If he could do it, why can't you? If you're truly a star. That, to me, elevates the profile of the NBA even more so. The New York Knicks winning the championship is the best possible thing that could have happened to basketball because of who led them to the championship. A 6'1" guard that looks like you and me, but is a giant amongst giants, especially tonight. It's the best thing that could have happened to the NBA moving forward.
Play it up in and a
You
foul.
opened this up, Stephen A., by saying
Everybody
that
was
this is
locked
the
in.
greatest
Started with
feeling
LeBron.
of joy you've ever had covering sports. You're down there on that floor. Take us down there. We saw the Brunsons, father and son, hugging. We've seen the celebrity. What has it been like? I know New York Knicks fans traveled in droves to that game.
Thousands. They were talking about reports was going to keep Knicks fans out. It didn't work. It wasn't happening. Thousands of Knicks fans were here tonight. They weren't missing this moment. This is New York, baby. There's no way you're going to keep us away. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. We're going to storm, and that's exactly what we did tonight. We stormed
Wemby's turn.
and then showed
The back-to-back
and
MVP.
thousands to support the New York Knicks, and you could sense it. It just seemed a bit too much for the San Antonio Spurs. I said before the game, San Antonio wins this game if it's a blowout. But if it's tight, the New York Knicks have it, because when you came back from 29, it's just too much to overcome. The fans were noisy. They kept on the New York Knicks. You knew, you just sensed it. They kept it close.
The Lakers are pouring it on.
Gets in foul trouble. It
Reeves
doesn't
now,
matter.
head down,
You got,
drive into the
you're
rim,
looking
got
at
there.
OG Anunoby. Didn't have a 33-point game like Game 4. Didn't matter. Mikal Bridges wasn't explosive offensively.